Did you know that apparently eyeshadow is out? Eyeshadow will age you, eyeshadow will make you look older, it's a big no-no, and I'm here to tell you, who cares? Who cares? Who cares if it makes you look older, and who cares if you look old? Why are we so afraid to look our age? I do not understand, but yeah, let's dive into this topic while I get very colorful like the happy clown I am. And this video is kindly sponsored by City Beauty. City Beauty actually reached out to me and wanted to sponsor a video about the things that I do and the things that I don't care about when it comes to makeup and beauty routines and all of that. This is their beautiful lip oil. They're having a 35% off sale right now on their website. You can use my code Angelica and you will get 35% off up until May 22nd. I will put info about that down in the description box. We're also going to be swatching a bunch of their plumping lip glosses further on in the video. I already used these in a video that I've done before and they are really nice, and I have more shades to show you. This is actually called the City Lips Night Oil, and this is especially great to have before going into bed at night. It will visibly plump and smooth your lips, and it's just a very cushiony and balmy and pillow-like formula that feels substantial on the lips without being like goopy or without being sticky. And this formula does have a bunch of different ingredients to help your lips feel smoother and more plump over time. There's actually a study, and after 12 weeks of use, 100% said the skin on their lips looked and felt healthier in the morning. 91% said the appearance of fine lines around their mouth were less noticeable, and 100% said throughout the day the lips felt less chapped. So this is just a really good lip oil. You can use it even overnight or just as a hydrating thing throughout the day. I've read quite a few articles as of late that have been talking about like eyeshadow is out, eyeshadow makes you look old, and I will say also for me as someone who has social media presence on quite a few different platforms, I've noticed especially on TikTok where there is a little bit of a younger demographic, you will get sometimes comments that says the eyeshadow is aging her. They always talk about you in third person when they're trying to offend you. I don't know. And I also don't understand this whole thing about trying to offend someone with age. Like, that is ageism. There's nothing wrong with I'm 40. There's nothing wrong with being 40. There's nothing wrong with looking 40. There's nothing wrong with aging. There's nothing wrong with looking your age. I don't know why we are seeing it as an insult, telling someone they look old, and seeing it as a compliment, telling someone they look young. And I find it so fascinating, this whole thing about tying eyeshadow and tying makeup looks to one's age. Like, you look older with eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow. I think eyeshadow is super fun, and I don't think that eyeshadow makes you look older. I think that right now what is trendy is a no eyeshadow look. The pendulum will always swing. This is not the first time in history when eyeshadow has not been trendy. And it will not be the first time in history when all of a sudden more visible makeup will become trendy again. I don't understand this sudden confusion or maybe surprise every time something goes out of fashion or every time something comes back into fashion. Like, why is the memory really that short? And especially people who like work with beauty, people who work with fashion, when they're like, oh, wearing, because okay, story time with Angie. I remember when I was younger and flared pants was popular. This was the 90s. Listen, it was wild times. It was bootcut jeans and it was flared jeans, and whoever had tight jeans was like, ew, you're showing your age, don't wear tight jeans. Then we all know what happened. Tight jeans came back in fashion. And then we were like, don't wear bootcut, you will show your age. Now we're back to not having tight jeans. Now it's like wide jeans that is popular. And we are once again like, I can't believe people are wearing tight jeans. As someone who has been in this phase of makeup coming and going, I'm keeping my tight jeans. Why not? They're gonna be back in fashion soon. And I think that when you get to a certain age, when you start remembering how things come back in fashion and out of fashion, because when I was young, like really young, in the 80s, again, I'm born 84, eyeshadow was wild. I remember my mom having blue eyeshadow, blue mascara. I remember my mom coloring her hair purple, doing a perm, and having purple makeup. She was lovely. She was amazing. It looked so great on her, and I've told her to this day that is my favorite look on her. She had short purple permed hair with purple makeup. Oh, it was so good. Then came the 90s. We were into minimalism. Eyeshadow was not really popular for a bit. Then came the 2010s and we were into eyeshadow again. Oh my god, it was all over the place. We were doing the cut creases and the eyeshadows and all the shebang. And we had this period in the early 2000s as well when we were doing frosty eyeshadow. I love that. That was so fun. I kind of wish that that would come back. Like, when is that coming back? And now we're in a phase where other things are popular again. I remember in the 90s when people were not really talking about eyeshadow, brown lipstick, people were falling over themselves to get brown lipstick. And we are just seeing other things be popular, and I cannot understand how you, as a person who work with beauty and fashion, can say that like eyeshadow is dead, that the era of eyeshadow is over, when it's like, it's just taking a break. Like, it will come back. You do not need to declutter all of your eyeshadows, unless they are expired, of course. Like, it's coming back. And I think, I'm gonna have a sip of Coke. I think that the older you get, the more times you have seen the pendulum swing in different directions, the less you care. And that's why when I'm still wearing eyeshadow, even though it's not popular, people say it ages me, because it does show my age. I'm at the age where I don't care. That's the age that the eyeshadow is showing. So while there are definitely things that I really don't care about when it comes to beauty, I love, like I said, I love color, I love eyeshadow. And I think this whole thing about thinking that color makes us look older is because I think a lot of people that are getting to be a little bit more mature right now, or people that are a little bit older, are people that maybe had their best times during like the 70s and 80s and the disco and the color and the just visible makeup, and they keep those trends, like the trends that you were doing when you were feeling your fiercest, when you were feeling your most beautiful, when you were feeling your most fun. That's probably the things that you're going to carry with you and through your entire life. So a lot of people that had their heydays in maybe the 70s and the 80s that are turning more mature right now. Like, I'm thinking, like my mom, for example. I think my mom is 65. Yes, she's turning 65 this year. I mean, she was, like I said, she was fierce in the 80s, and she was living her best life in the 70s, and she still likes colorful things, and she still likes visible makeup. And I think that we sometimes connect the trends that the people that are getting older, what they like to wear, we connect that with looking old. Because when I was young, the people that was older then were wearing the kind of clothes that people would wear in the 40s and the 50s, which makes sense because that's when my grandmother maybe was having her heydays, and she was wearing the skirts below the knee and the little cardigan sets, and she was wearing stuff that was in the 40s and 50s, definitely not considered to be frumpy in any way, but she liked those trends and she felt good in those trends, so she kept them with her until she grew old, together with, I'm guessing, a bunch of other people, and then we just associated those kind of things with being old. And maybe now we are starting to associate, oh, you are in your mid or late 30s or in your 40s or mid 40s and you're wearing visible eyeshadow. That tells me your age, because the younglings right now, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're not. But there's gonna come a time when eyeshadow is back in fashion again, and then maybe when they get to be my age, they're gonna do something that they love that's no longer in fashion, and the generation after them is gonna be, that ages you. That shows your age. And then people are gonna be like, especially younger people, are gonna be like, well, why don't you just change your makeup style then? Why don't you just wear the clean makeup aesthetic? Why don't you just dress and wear the kind of things that the younger generation is doing? And you're gonna be like seen as one of us. You're gonna appear younger looking. The thing is that we don't care. And we don't want to. Because like I said before, the goal isn't necessarily to look as young as possible. That's not my goal. I just want to look and feel like myself. That's all I want. And if color makes me happy, and if this kind of makeup makes me happy, why do I think that I would feel more happy trying to look younger or trying to appease a generation that, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Gen Z or Gen Alpha thinks that I look young. And I think that when you are young, you kind of think that you are the center of attention. You think that you are the center of the universe and that you are the important generation. You are the ones that everyone is looking up to. Everybody wants to be you. Everybody's jealous of you. Everybody wants to have the fun life that you're having, not realizing, first of all, I already had that. And I had a fun 20s. Second of all, I still liked my 30s better than my 20s. And my 40s are starting to look real good. I've only been 40 for almost 6 months, and it's been fantastic. It's been great. Better than my 20s could ever have been. So I'm not trying to look 20. I'm not trying to appear 20. I'm not trying to appease the 20s. But I can say that there is definitely a couple of different things that I have changed up throughout the years. A couple of things that I have been like, this actually works better with my skin. This actually works better with the makeup that I'm trying to achieve. It's time to jump into the lip glosses. This is the City Beauty City Lips Plumping Lip Glosses. I have tried this before on my channel, and you know I don't like a lip gloss that's super stinging. I've been wearing this before. I think this is Crimson. Yes, Crimson, and I really liked how it looked on. It felt beautiful. So they sent me a bunch of other shades, and we're just going to be trying all of them. I'm just going to blot the excess of the oil off, and my lips feel fantastic. I'm going to do a little bit of lip liner. So let's start with the shade that I have worn before, which is Crimson. And as you can see, it has a little bit of a thicker, balmy, like pillowy kind of a look to it. And again, this is a very hydrating formula that will just make your lips look and feel plumper, but also it has a little bit of a tingly sensation, but not overbearing, because I can't do hurting lip plumpers whatsoever. But it also helps to hydrate your lips over time as well, because that's one of the things with like getting older. I feel like your skin and your lips, they do lose a little bit of plumpness, they do lose a little bit of hydration. You definitely need more hydration with time. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look like plumper and hydrated. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to look 20, but it's also nice to have this like smoother, plumping looking lip thing. So if you were looking for something to give you a little bit of plumpness and a deep hydration, not only instantly, but also over time, this formula could definitely be something for you. Like I said, I feel a tingling sensation on my lips, but it's not one of those like super hurting formulas, and more importantly, it doesn't keep going for like hours and hours, which is something that I really hate with other formulas. This one, it's a little tingly sensation. It looks and feels like a balm. It's not sticky, but it still has a formula that like stays on your lips. So this was Crimson. Let's go into San Diego, which has a little bit of shimmer in it. So this is San Diego, and this is a nice warmer pink with a more golden sheen. If you love something that's a little bit more metallic, something that has like a glimmering sheen to it, it is not sparkly, it's more that it's a little bit metallic. So San Diego. This is Nude York, and it is like a peachy beige, also with a sheen to it. It also has like a little bit of metallic shimmeriness to it. That's a really pretty color, and look at how like plump and plush this is looking. Oh, this is such a nice like pale nude. It has opacity, but not full-on opacity. You can see my lip line a little bit. That's pretty. This one is in Tokyo Kiss. That's a pretty one. Okay, we have one left, and I'm gonna leave this one on, and it is in, oh, Nude. There we go. That is such a cute gloss. Big fan. So thank you so much, City Beauty, for sponsoring this video. Thank you for wanting to be part of like pro aging and actually like being comfortable in your skin and feeling okay with how you look and not being afraid of looking your age. If you want to take part of their sale that they're having right now, you can use code Angelica to get 35% off until May 22nd, and I will leave all the info to that down below. And these two products that I've shown here are my favorite products from City Beauty, but they do have a bunch of other really good things as well. I've definitely heard some really good things about their body butter and their hand cream, so definitely take a peek at that as well. I will leave the info in the description box, and let's try to add a little bit more glow. Again, that's also one of those things that are not popular right now. Highlighter, listen, I love highlighter. I love eyeshadow, but one of the things that I have noticed with time is that I used to be a heavy makeup all over. And I have noticed the older I get, your skin loses a little bit of the plumpness, and it does make more heavy face makeup feel wrong. It feels heavy on your skin. It feels like it's like you feel it. And maybe that's just me being a little bit more like lazy, like I don't want to feel my makeup. But I definitely have noticed that I like makeup that is not as thick on my face because it doesn't feel and look as heavy. But I still like visible makeup. I just don't want it to be too thick. When I was younger, I could wear more thicker foundation because of how my skin looked and felt, but I do prefer something that has a more liquidy foundation. The older I get, I want less pigment in the face products and I want them to be more liquidy. Whilst when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe the pigment of this, or I can't believe how full coverage this is. And now I'm like getting excited about something when I'm like, oh, I can't believe how liquidy this concealer is. This is lovely. But when it comes to eyeshadow, I definitely am still loving eyeshadow. And even though the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha says that it is aging you, it is making you look older, and it is not trendy, we know, most of us watching here, because like, I know what age bracket you're in. Most of the people on my channel are between 25 to 55. And then there are, of course, some outliers. Everyone is, of course, welcome here. But I can tell you that there's not a lot of Gen Alpha on this channel. And that is probably because I am not serving them the content that they're interested in whatsoever. But the older I get, the more secure I get in my style. And I think one of the things that I know this from me being younger, one of the things that I had a hard time differentiating between and that I feel more secure in now in my 40s is being trendy and actually having a style. Your style can look good without being trendy, and you can be trendy without looking good. I'm gonna be digging into this palette. I will leave a link to the things that I am using down below, but I won't really be like talking about it. But one of the things that I feel I've always really loved about trends, and I feel like when I was younger, you kind of wanted to jump on every trend because you thought that if you weren't wearing the things that were trendy, or if forbid that you were wearing something that wasn't trendy, that was like untrendy all of a sudden, you thought that like you were gonna get called out. And the older you get, the more you realize that, first of all, it doesn't matter if you get called out. And second of all, the people that are calling you out are the people that are yet to find their style, and they're still in the era where trendy equals style. But the older you get, you realize that all the trends that you go through is there to help you try things so that you can find your style, your actual taste in things. There are so many things that I wear that I love to wear that are no longer trendy, but at one time they were. At one time they were, and I tried them and I was like, this could be for me. And the older I get, the more I realize that holding on to things that you like, even though they're not trendy anymore, I'm looking at you tight jeans, is okay because it's part of your style. even though it's not trendy, it's part of your style, it's part of your identity. And I have noticed, and it took me well into my 30s to find my style and not for me to just be wearing trends. Because there are definitely two different things. Style is about materials you like, colors you like, silhouettes that you like, stuff that makes you feel comfortable, the things that you usually match together in your wardrobe. It's about having a red thread. It's about having this personality in your clothing of like actually showing yourself in the way that you express yourself through fashion, through accessories, through makeup. It is not about wearing what is popular right now, because your style can never be whatever's trendy at the moment. Another thing that I actually stopped doing when it comes to like being comfortable with age is the full strip lash. Because I have, and you can see it here, I have like a pretty substantial like hood here. See this? I have like a hood in the inside of my eye, and I feel like with age, a full strip lash that goes all the way in, it kind of gets stuck here, and it just feels uncomfortable, and it doesn't look right, and it doesn't really, I don't want to say flatter, because I don't really care that much about flattering, but I just feel like it looks so much better, and the look just feels so much cohesive with a half lash, that I don't have a lot of darkness and a lot of the lash on the inside here, because it's just not comfortable with like your lids aging and starting to like change shape. And I feel like that's probably a process that we're all going through. Not only are we changing preferences when it comes to like, I used to love this color and now I love this. I used to love matte lips and now I love, like there's so many things that we could be changing about. And there's one thing in changing preferences, and there's another thing in just adhering to what society is expecting from you. And I really hope that we can come even further with like individualism and like what is expected from us, and just be more like, I just want to be me. And I don't understand why we are somehow almost expecting people when they come to a certain age to just be like, oh, you need to tone it down, you need to be more demure, you need to start getting interests such as, I don't know, knitting. And I'm like, why should I all of a sudden pick up interests or pick up preferences in how I appear in like my makeup and my fashion that I never had before just because I reach a certain age? I don't understand where this is coming from. I'm not a new person just because I become older, and I don't understand why we expect people that get older to like almost tone themselves down. What am I supposed to be like ashamed that I'm 40? Am I supposed to take like less space in society? I just let people live. And I am definitely doing that. Oh, this is such a lovely green thing. I will say one thing though that has helped with when your eye shape is changing and you're starting to get like some hoods and stuff is getting smaller eye brushes. And I feel like there was this time when everybody was talking about those super floofy brushes, like poofy, big, floofy brushes for your crease, but having a little bit more denser brushes that are a little bit smaller, like these are ones that I created myself for my own brand, Cinch Beauty, definitely helps with precision and with getting the makeup where you want it when you start to get more, or if you already had hooded eyes. So that's definitely a tip that I can give to you. If you are struggling with eyeshadow and you feel like you never get it the way you want it might be the brushes. And with that, I'm not saying that you should go and buy my brushes. I'm saying try different brushes. Maybe try something smaller. That could actually be helping. I love all matte looks, but I do think we will be doing some shimmers. I'm also thinking, should we do a different color on the lower lash line? Because like more color is better, more is more, as my friend Heather would say. So if you're like me and you're feeling like you're either getting into the age or are already in the age where society is almost trying to like silence you or to make you just, you know, tone it down, don't take too much space, you're supposed to just wear more age appropriate. I hate the term age appropriate. What is age appropriate? I am this age. Let me decide what is age appropriate for me. But if you're feeling like that too, just remember that the people that are judging you, they're doing that based on their insecurities and what they think that you should be doing. You don't have to do any of that. You can wear and act however you feel is appropriate for your age. You want to have glitter, you want to have full coverage foundation, you want to have cut creases, you want to have green eyeshadow, you want to wear mini skirts, you want to wear high heels, you want to dye your hair, you want to not dye your hair. You're allowed to do any of that. You are already acting your age because you are your age. It's okay. I remember this one time I was working in my old office job that I used to work at in Sweden. And I don't have any kids. And I think that me not having any kids sometimes makes people have a hard time assessing my age. They don't know where to put me because I don't have any kids, so they don't know what age I am or what age I'm supposed to act like. But I remembered talking about my weekend and what I had been doing on my weekend on like the fika break in Sweden on a Monday morning. And I was talking about my weekend, and one of my coworkers said, "Oh, when you get to be my age, you'll realize that that's not how your weekends can look. Like you're not gonna have time for that. You're not gonna have the energy for that." And I looked at her and I'm like, I'm older than you. I am older than you. And this just goes back to like what society is expecting us to be doing at different ages, where they expect us to be, how they expect us to act. And it is okay for you to act and look in a way that feels good for you. And this of course goes even if you do have kids. Nobody is deciding for you how you want your life to look. I know plenty of people with kids that live in a way that society is saying that they sometimes maybe shouldn't, but it's up to you to decide how you want your life to be within limits, of course, you know, law, stuff like that, pesky little things. Do I know what I'm doing with this makeup look? Not really. Is it still okay? I would argue yes. So what was the entire point of this video? I just wanted to give you the power back. You are okay to be however you feel fit to be. If you want to look your age, you want to look younger, you want to look older, you don't care at all, you want to do Botox, you don't want to like color over your gray streak. Like for me, I keep my gray hairs, specifically tell my hairdresser, don't worry about my grays, put in some highlights, but don't try to like disguise the grays. They are the way that they are. But I also do Botox. You are okay to choose for yourself, for you, what you would like to do and how you would like to present yourself in this society. And I like this. I like being me. I like being colorful. I like dressing the way I do. I love doing colorful makeup. And I'm choosing this for me. And if someone says that that is aging me, if someone says that I am out of style, out of fashion, not on trend, it is okay. Because whatever I'm wearing now that is not on trend, it's gonna come back in fashion. Sooner or later, everything comes back in fashion. And there's nothing wrong with looking your age. We are supposed to be older with time. What is the alternative? Not getting older? That sucks. I would rather be 40 and look 40 than not be 40. Because like, I can't turn back time, and it is perfectly fine for us to just embrace our age and not fall into the society expects us to look in a certain way, because you really don't need to. You are allowed to wear colorful eyeshadow or not. You are allowed to wear the trends that the Gen Z is doing and embrace them as well. You're allowed to do all of that. So don't let anything hold you back. I hope I am able to give you a little bit of like confidence. And like I said, the older that we get, the less we care about others. And if you still feel that you're a little bit cautious and that you sometimes like absorb opinions of others about you, just remember that at the end of the day, people are so busy with worrying about themselves that they usually don't have time to worry about you. And the people that are, for one reason or another, worrying about your appearance, worrying about my appearance, telling me that I should act my age, that's their insecurity showing. And why should I be bothered with that? It's not my insecurity. I don't have time to worry about somebody else's insecurity. Thank you again so much, City Beauty, for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check out the sale down below. I'm still really enjoying these lip glosses, and that lip oil is really, really wonderful. So if you want to participate in their big sale, check the info down below. I hope you're having an amazing, amazing day, and I will see you soon again in a new video. Bye!